Yeah, actually, I don't believe in any feminist movement.
If you don't believe in feminism and the feminist movement, I am really confused as to what you are doing in here. The second question that I have is that what is it that you believe that men can do that women can't do?
I can't really hit the point. You already know what men can do and what
Mm,
women can do. It is
no, no,
simple.
no. Enlighten me.
These are simple life ethics. These are norms. These are standards. I don't know
I'm
how.
beyond
I
simple. Please
I
explain to
don't.
this simple person what it
Yeah.
is
No.
that
Wait.
men can
I'm
do that
coming.
women cannot do.
There are things that can't not be explained. It
What
is
are those things?
unexplainable.
You're
It is
telling me that they can't
unexplainable.
be explained, then why did you even say that there are things that men can do that women can't do and you can't explain it? Why would you even say
It is
that?
what if I should start that the time frame is little. So you wouldn't expect me
What a
to
cop
give out
out.
this information
What a
in a
cop out.
little
What a
time
pussy.
frame.
Okay, I'm done.
So yeah. So I had like two questions. So the first question first for Q, please. At what point to you does a man become a woman? Was he always a woman? If he had that feeling, is it only after he's had surgery? Like, at what point does a man become a woman to you? And like, if it's based on a feeling, then wasn't he always that? Like, I'm okay. Let me let you answer.
So for me, I cannot speak on that only because of the fact that for me, I've always felt I am a woman. I was born a woman. That is just me. I can't speak on when a man decides that they want to be a woman. If they classify themselves as a woman, that is how they feel, that is what they do. I'm not God, I'm not a president, I'm not anything to tell somebody what they can and cannot be, nor am I going to be able to tell them what they can and cannot feel, because isn't feminism literally having that exact moment of letting us be who we want to be and doing what we can as women and trying to fight for what we want?
So, Tay Tay, you say that you don't include trans men in feminism. Could you elaborate as to why you believe that?
I don't include trans men in feminism because I don't believe that trans men are women. I think that trans men are biological females who present as male, which means that they currently are benefiting from, taking on the appearance of a male in a patriarchal society that values
Okay,
males.
so I hate to interrupt you, but just for interest of time, do you then follow that a trans man's privilege is on the basis of how much they pass?
Absolutely. I think that passing has a lot to do with how trans people are oppressed and how trans people are rewarded by society.
Okay,
That
so if
okay.
that's the case, so why would we not, and you admitted that you exclude trans women, um, okay, but you said they have the right movement, that's not a point I want to make. Um, so I'm going to yield on that.
My next question goes like this: can a transgender man be put into a female prison?
Transgender men, I'm not sure if that has occurred, but if transgender men are going to be in women's prisons, I think that they need to be separated from the women simply because they are taking testosterone and their needs are far different from, women. So I think that they still present a danger if they cohabitate with biological. Well, they are
And
biological
10 seconds left.
females, but
Okay, Sheila
so
wants to
yes,
say
they
goodbye.
can be in the same prisons, but I do think that they need to be segregated.
Yeah, I wanted to respond to the prison saying absolutely no way under any certain terms. It is cruel and unusual punishment and against the human rights in the Western world for cruel and unusual punishment to happen. Therefore, men should never, ever be placed in women's prisons.
Taylor, I think his question was trans men, though.
Yeah, females.
So
Okay,
biological
sorry.
females. Well, I've heard of one biological female wanting to go into the male prison. She didn't last very long before she came out of the male prison.
I'm sorry, Van, did I hear the question wrong? I thought he
No,
asked,
you didn't
do
hear it
you
wrong.
think
I
trans
think
men should be in female
no,
prison?
you answered the question right, but I think
Okay.
Taylor just,
So I'm gonna just wrap this up quick. But one, the LGBTQ did not divorce from the Q. I don't know why y'all as conservatives keep running with that. The only people who are pushing for that are conservative, transgendered and queer people that think shucking and jiving towards their political counterparts will somehow save them or get them preferential political treatment when these bullshit ass laws are passed. And it's not going to do that. It's never that tactic has never worked. Secondly, no one wakes. Human sexuality has always existed on a spectrum since the beginning of recorded human history. You can look back at any history book at any time period. Gay people, lesbians, transgendered, queer people have always existed. This ignorance surrounding human sexuality in the queer community really just comes from people who feel uncomfortable that they cannot force their way of life onto everyone else, and how they cannot force queer people to go back into the closet or be quiet and not be out in public. And one of the major indicators of this is how these same heterosexual people will not have anything negative or bad to say about heterosexuality being taught, being shown in movies, being a normal part of society, but then we'll have everything to say about queer people and how it's just so damaging.
Do we actually question also the things that we've normalized? Because heteronormativity is a thing in society. It's strange. You can have like teachers that can announce to their children that, hey, I got married to I'm a woman and I just got engaged to my male fiance, or hey, look at my wedding pictures, or this is my husband, this is my boyfriend, this is my girlfriend, if they're a heterosexual relationship. And as soon as it's a gay couple, boom, you're trying to promote sexuality. Like, bro, come on. Let's keep it fair. Yes, sometimes people are pushing sexuality on children, and that's the straight and the gay ones. But yeah, I think there's also real quick. I think there's also like some societal things, because like we were mentioning before, the village will raise the child whether you fucking want it to or not. Other things will influence that child. So even if you do nothing or do everything as right supposedly to you, they will have other influences. They can fucking hate being gay, and then you were trying to help them, or the other way around. You know, it is what it is. So I'll stop there.
All right, thanks for your submission. Q, you're up next, and then Tate will end the round with us, and we'll start the question round. So, Q, your submission. Your time starts now.
Everyone did an incredible job explaining it. I think the thing that irritated me the most is trying to call it a cult. When you talk about the T and the Q being away from the LGB, first off, if you're not in the community, you can't dictate what's a part of that in the first place. Second, the Q letter is an umbrella term. It is over everything. Literally, if you look up the definition, it tells you that when you're referring to queer, it's not talking about heterosexual or cisgender, meaning everything else that falls underneath that. If you're not heterosexual or you're not cisgender, whatever, it falls under that queer term. The fact that people would even think that considering the LGBTQ that you would be considered a bad parent because of that is absolutely insane. I have learned more about heterosexual things than I ever learned about anything homosexuality, and that's a problem. Y'all pick and choose what you want to be taught in school. If it doesn't align with your ideas or your religion, that's when it's a problem. I don't know about you, but there's sex ed in school. That's sexual. If you don't want kids learning about sexuality, then go to your schools and tell them to take out sex ed, but you won't. Because when they talk about sex ed, they're talking about the heterosex. If they started talking about sex ed and brought in gay, oh, I bet you $100 sex ed would be out of that classroom in the middle in a fucking second.
I think that, in 2023, we really need to acknowledge that the LGBT community, and yes, I am including the T here, is not something that you can just, teach someone to be a part of. And, since a lot of people in this room, focused on the sexuality portion of it, I'll just say that, transness is, it's a very, very difficult, it's just so, it's so difficult because at the end of the day, I feel like a lot of the prejudices and discriminations and resistance against that community is is coming from a place of ignorance and fear.